What's happening, everybody? Ryan Thomas here live on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast with the Buffalo Bills post-game show each and every week. I bring you this show each and every week. I bring it to you whether I'm happy about the results like I am tonight or whether I am sad about the results like I have been 3 times this season. Only 3 times in 13 weeks have I been upset over the results of these Buffalo Bills games. Tonight, wow, what can I say? First half, I did a little bit of a halftime report show where I hopped on here and gave my take on the 9-7 score. Teron Johnson ended that first half with a pick six that really Buffalo rode that momentum wave into the second half, but they didn't just ride that momentum wave of that pick six. They took that game over. They did each and everything that I thought they needed to do in order to win this game. They did it all. They did everything they possibly could to win this game and then some. And they really essentially played Buffalo Bills football. They stayed within their identity, and they know how to win. And a team that knows how to win, and more so a team that knows how to win their own way, is a force to be reckoned with. And this was another victory on top of another victory last week, where the momentum, the flow of these games, we're starting to see a little bit of a shift here positivively for the Buffalo Bills. Last week against San Francisco, I was ecstatic about that game. Talked with my guest Kurt Haumesser on Wednesday, and I stated that if the Bills win this game, I'm saying AFC contenders. I'm saying that, much like what Mike Greenberg said on Get Up. You guys saw me post that clip on my page, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, the podcast page, that this is the toughest team in the AFC for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not the Pittsburgh Steelers, not the Baltimore Ravens, not the Cleveland Browns, but the Buffalo Bills are the toughest challenge to the defending Super Bowl champions in the AFC. They proved that tonight. This offense is special. This offense has its own way of finding out how to nitpick through a defense and how to knife through a defense. Granted, I have been a little bit critical in terms of the run game and establishing the run game or lack thereof in terms of the run game this season. But what can you say about that second half that would be deemed negative? Everything about that second half was perfect. They played the perfect second half in that game just now against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't even talk. I am so excited about the future of this team, where this team is headed, and knowing that I sit here on this show. I started this show 5 years ago, and learning how to podcast and learning how to get your show out there is half the battle. The rest of it is just being me and putting out my takes and interacting with you guys, the viewers and the listeners. That's the easy part. The easy part is me behind the microphone. The tough part was, I should say, was just forming the idea of the show. And, I formed the idea of the show due to the fact that I had a lot of bold takes, a lot of hot takes in regards to the Buffalo Bills. And at that time, it was very easy to have hot takes when you were talking about a team that was pretty polarizing team, and polarizing in a negative way, in the sense that every other year it just seemed like the Buffalo Bills always found a way to let us down. The Buffalo Bills always found a way. Keep those comments coming. I'm getting to them. Don't worry. They always found a way to let us down. They always found a way to make us say, oh, these are just the same old Buffalo Bills. And to sit here as a 28-year-old man, realizing that this is the best Buffalo Bills team that I have ever seen, and it's not even close. I didn't get to live through the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley, Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon years. I didn't get to live through that. I can study it all day long. I can know, how they got to be what they became. I can learn all that all day long, but to watch this and to know how this came together, why this came together, and most importantly, what makes it tick, what makes it great, it's a true privilege watching these games every week. I'm witnessing the revival of the Buffalo Bills. I'm witnessing the comeback of the Buffalo Bills, and a comeback that is long overdue. But hey, better late than never. I'll take it. At 28 years old, I will take it. And the fact that we are living through this time right now in this pandemic, the one thing that I can say that has gotten me through this pandemic week to week, day to day, is the Buffalo Bills. It's always been that way, even when times are tough. Times have been tough in life. But this is special. This is really special. Granted, we don't have 75,000 strong in that stadium tonight. We don't have 75,000 strong leaving that stadium. Most of them, shall we say, a little, intoxicated. We'll just call a spade, okay? But we do have me interacting with you guys on this show. We do have Bills fans interacting with one another via social media. And we can honestly just say to each other, we're staying safe, we're cheering on the same team, and we are loving the results. I want to get to some of the comments here and really just appreciate everyone that is tuning in right now. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. You guys know that. And I hope that you guys have been entertained by what I've been putting out. Communicating with you guys has been just phenomenal. This season has been one of the best seasons I've ever seen. It really, and I get emotional about it. I get emotional about it because this is more than just a football game. This is more than just a football team. This is a team that has been woven into the fabric of my everyday life since I was a little kid, for as long as I can remember. And to have what got you to that point, what got you to that point as a Bills fan, who brought that about? I have these moments where I watch these games and I think, what would my grandfather think if he was watching this team? And that is special. You can't put a price on that. You can't put, anything on that from now and, in the future. You'll always think, hey, remember those times you're watching at least I do. You might have been watching the games with, a brother, an uncle, a grandma, a friend, whoever, and the Bills were just brutally bad, just horrible. And now those people might not be around anymore. Might have passed on, moved away, and you're watching this team and you say to yourself, I wonder what they would think. That's what I'm thinking about right now. To be honest, that is what I'm thinking about, because we're witnessing something really special, and that comes straight from the heart. I say that I sit in the game day chair watching the game, and I'm saying, what would my grandpa think of Josh Allen after watching that game? You cannot put a price on that. There is just that is Buffalo Bills football right there. That is born in. It is put into you from an early age. If grandfather, father, uncle, you guys have experienced that. I know you have, and that's what makes this team so damn special. It really is a special time to be alive and to be a Bills fan, and to lay witness to this game. So I want to get to the stat line of Josh Allen. First half was super rough for Josh Allen. He finished the first half with a little over 76 yards, I believe was the actual tally. And second half, Josh Allen has arrived. 238 yards, 2 passing TDs, 1 interception. Obviously, some rushing yards to add on to the total yards mark for his game. He had a few runs that he needed to have in order to evade and get out of the pocket like Josh Allen is known to do. But Chris Collinsworth actually said it best, and I know Chris Collinsworth gets a ton of flack, and to an extent I get it. He's somewhat easy to poke fun at. But Chris Collinsworth is a guy that eloquently stated that this is a team that is rallied around their quarterback because their quarterback is playing like a quarterback. His percentage of deep ball throws has gone down, as Collinsworth said, from 17 to 12. But not even the statistics, just the simple fact that Josh Allen is letting the playmakers around him make the plays. Oftentimes, especially in his rookie year, Josh Allen didn't have a lot to work with playmaker-wise on that team. You had a pretty bad rookie team for Josh Allen to work with. Pretty bad team for Josh Allen to work with as a rookie, I should say. Not a lot of weapons, and weapons that were kind of aging or weren't really as legitimate as the weapons that he has now, or ones that fit an offense the way that these ones fit now. And he's letting the ball out of his hand at a more controlled rate. He's not trying to play hero ball. He's not trying to do anything too over the top. He's letting Diggs. He's letting Beasley. He's let Brown when Brown is healthy. He's let Gabe Davis make plays, and that's what a quarterback has to do. You're just dishing it out. Whatever happens, you're getting the assist. The pass is the assist. The wide receiver is the guy that is technically scoring the goal as he runs it in the end zone, or the tight end, or the running back. So the quarterback is just dishing it out, and Josh Allen is dishing it out better than he ever has in his entire football career, even dating back to Wyoming. The fact that this guy has gotten better as his pro football career has gone on is a true anomaly in this league. It's oftentimes you see a quarterback that competed at an extremely high level in college, come into the NFL, hit a roadblock, maybe succeed from it, or maybe fall off the face of the earth from it, whereas Josh Allen has actually done the exact opposite. He came into this league as an afterthought Wyoming quarterback that was a polarizing prospect, that was believed to be very raw, not 100%. People were not 100% about him being a franchise quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. He comes in and, leads the Bills to 6 wins his rookie year. And let's be honest here. That Bills team had no business winning 6 games. That Bills team was really bad. And they had no line. They had an aging running back. They had wide receivers that were not talented NFL caliber wide receivers. And I'm saying that just being honest. Deontay Thompson and Kelvin Benjamin are a far cry from Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley. It is what it is. We're analyzing the talent that these teams have had. And Allen is playing quarterback. He's just simply playing quarterback, and he's playing it about as good as anybody in the league right now. And, typically, last week Allen was the takeover player of this game. But no doubt about it, the takeover player of the game for me on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast Bills postgame show tonight is Stephon Diggs. 10 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. The touchdown, he's at the 10, he's at the 5, and he's in. Touchdown, boom. That was it. It was just no hesitation at all. And a lot of catches in this second half from Stephon Diggs, where Diggs was just wide open, where he was just lost completely in the shuffle. That just goes to show you how damn good of a route runner this guy truly is. And it goes to show you that the connection of Allen to Diggs is second in the entire NFL to Mahomes and Hill. Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, they take the cake as far as the best connection in the league. They can dominate. They can take over a game. For year one of Allen and Diggs to do what they've done in less than a year, to be considered one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league, it's astounding. It's astounding. I was pumping up the move of Stephon Diggs prior to the Bills even making it. When the Bills made the move, I was ecstatic. I thought it would be a great move for the team. Did I, in my wildest dreams, did I anticipate that Diggs would come in and be the receiver that he has been for this team? I didn't in this fashion. He's putting up just ridiculous numbers in this offense, as is Josh Allen. So one of the best tandems in the league, one of the best duos in the league, and Diggs is the first receiver this year in the NFL to hit the 100 reception mark. He's had over 90 yards receiving in 8 games this season. Those are incredible numbers. Those are Pro Bowl numbers, and those are numbers that are reflective of a Wide receiver 1 in this league, a dominant top 5, top 3 wide receiver in this league right now. And he's the takeover player in the game. The graphic tomorrow, I'm letting you guys know, is going to have a nice picture of Stephon Diggs rocking the red 14 jersey with 10 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown with his season stat line underneath it. That's going to be the graphic for tomorrow's game. Takeover player in the game, Stephon Diggs. You have to give credit to the man that received the extension. You have to give the credit to Brandon Beane, the most recent extension, I should say. Brandon Beane, you have to give him the credit that he deserves. Putting this team together, there were so many talent evaluators from outside the NFL. How can you call yourself a talent evaluator if you're not even inside the league? I'm a podcaster. I got to put out content. I'm going to put out, draft content up the wazoo. I would never refer to myself as a talent evaluator. I'd refer to myself as what I am, a podcaster. And to say that, there are talent evaluators out there, that there were talent evaluators out there that thought Brandon Beane was out of his ever-loving mind taking Josh Allen and trading all those picks that he traded for Stephon Diggs. Brandon Beane looks like the Albert Einstein of the National Football League right now. He looks like the mad scientist, the genius that is just pulling the strings, playing, being the puppeteer, if you will, of the NFL. Sean McDermott, to me, resembles a general out there, just commanding the troops, putting the troops in the right position, and leading the way. This is a well-oiled machine that is just trudging along. And the only thing that can stop it outside of the Kansas City Chiefs is the Buffalo Bills themselves. And that's the best part. I will go out on a limb. I don't know when this is going to happen. I'm not going to put a cap on it. I'm not going to put a year on it. I will go out on a limb here and say that the Bills will win a Super Bowl within the next 4 or 5 years. I think it could potentially be sooner than that. I think it could. Maybe 3 years. Maybe, hell, who knows? Maybe this year. But I do see it. I see it happening as plain as day. Rightfully, with fans in the stands, at the AFC Championship game, the Buffalo Bills destroy Pittsburgh or Kansas City or Baltimore or whoever. This team's coming. They're not going. That's for sure. So, that is it. I got comments flowing through. So, fuck. He says, Josh, I almost said your name there. Josh reminded me of Ben. His name is Fa Q. I'll say it on the air, but I'm not going to, you get the point. On YouTube, Josh reminded me of Ben in his first few years when he was still mobile. Kid's got a future. See you in the postseason. Maybe he's a Steelers fan. I don't know. But he knows a great quarterback when he sees one. How about Big Ben, too, man? He is such a warrior out there. I have the utmost respect for Big Ben Roethlisberger. Tip my cap to him. He's been one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league for quite some time. Extremely underrated, I think, in this league. Tim Volkmar, is there a clinch scenario still in play with the game tomorrow? Tim, I truly believe that I believe they have to beat the Denver Broncos next week no matter what. I think that's just the easiest way to analyze it. Beating Denver next week is essential to them clinching the division, the first divisional title in 25 years. I laid down a nice bet that they would win the AFC East when the odds were forever in my favor. I will not divulge how much I put down on that, but I will divulge what I won when it happens. So I'm a pretty happy guy. It's looking like that bet was a smart one. Mike Davis says, we deserve this. The Bills organization has taken the right steps. I completely agree. Laying the foundation from, McDermott to Beane is something that fascinates me. How often do we see a team that achieves success in the National Football League bring in their head coach first and then the general manager? How often do we see that at this level of success? Rarely ever. Usually it's the GM that finds the coach. It's never the coach that finds the GM. Granted, Bean and McDermott had a working relationship together, obviously in Carolina, so they knew each other pretty well. But it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. And to see that is one thing, but then to see success from that, these guys had clicked, over the course of their time in Carolina, and they knew at some point, maybe down the road, hey, we got a good thing going. Let's see if we can work together down the road if the opportunity presents itself. McDermott had this, genius plan, I think, that if he got a head coaching job, he was going to bring Brandon Beane along with him no matter where it was. And, it was perfect. Daniel says the Bills are relevant, more relevant now than ever. More relevant now than ever. So Eric says, like I said in my comments on your post, this team just feels different. In years past, when the Steelers hit that 2-point conversion, you would just think crap, they're going to lose this game. Yeah, you would. And I fell victim to that too. I still fall victim to that. We do need to see the Bills continue to prove it. Seeing is believing, right? We saw a lot of just horrible football for so long where they would just shoot themselves in the foot. And I won't lie to you, this first half was pretty terrible. I felt like I was going to fall asleep at points in the first half. It was pretty brutal. But nonetheless, the second half was just a complete and total turnaround. This year just feels different. Allen stays composed, and you just know they're better than the other squad. And we have a couple hills to climb here. And I know that the Chiefs are the big bad team. I know that there's teams in the NFC that if they met them in the Super Bowl, let's just say right now, they'd have trouble against. They'd have trouble against Green Bay. They'd have trouble against Tampa Bay. And they'd have trouble against the Saints. They'd have trouble against those three teams, I think, in particular, if they did meet them in the Super Bowl. But, we'll wait till that time comes. And Tim says, this team is truly special. Thanks, Tim, for the comment. This team is truly special. Thank you all for the comments. I greatly appreciate it. I'm excited for the first time since the Kelly era. Those were like exciting times. # Go Bills. Those are times that I've heard about, my entire life. Could you imagine wanting something so bad? And, I am thankful to an extent that I didn't have to lay witness to those 4 straight Super Bowl losses. I think my fandom today would be much, much different if that wasn't the case, or if that was the case, I should say. If that was the case, if I did view those 4 straight Super Bowls and I did watch them, I would think to myself, good Lord, I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't know how I'm doing it, how I'm getting away with, rooting on this team. But because I didn't watch those 4 Super Bowls, I wasn't really around. I was 2 when they went to the 4th Super Bowl, for crying out loud. I have such a hunger as a fan. I mean, look behind me. Look behind me. I mean, I have stuff all over the place. This isn't the only wall that I have stuff on. As I move things around in this office, this studio man cave, you guys will be just over the moon with some of the stuff that I have. But, it's a part of my DNA. It's what made me decide to do this show and create this show, was the sense that I love talking about this team. This is the team that I've rooted for as long as I can remember. And kind of sharing my story as a fan and hearing your stories as a fan, I think is beneficial to everybody. And it's one of those things we can all come together and unite on during one of the worst years that any of us have ever experienced. We can all agree to that. Like the fact that this year has been terrible, we can all agree to that. When can we all agree on anything, let alone something like that? We never thought we'd be here, but here we are. And, we're doing the best we can. We're 10-3. That's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking, hey, Bills are 10-3. Life's good. It is what it is. We'll keep pushing. Wear a mask. We'll keep pushing. Donald Caldwell with the comment that I think just really brings it home. And I talked about this in a post. I took a post. I actually watched when COVID first hit. NFL Game Pass put out a free version of itself. NFL Game Pass is on NFL.com. You can watch, any game over again, dating back like 15, 16, 17 years ago. So I was going back. I was watching old Bills games, ones that were memorable, ones that were great. I couldn't watch any of the ones that were awful that, tore my soul in two, but tore my heart in two. But I did watch that playoff game, and I watched it first. And that playoff game that I'm referring to is the last one, the one against the Houston Texans, where the Bills had the 16-point lead. They squandered it, and they lost. And I kept thinking, this is what will set the tone for 2020. This is what will strike the chord along any returning member of this team from 2019 to 2020. And Donald Caldwell says it best. Special year that lost last year to Houston might have been the best thing to happen to Josh Allen. And I want to read what I wrote because I really meant it. And I think that really puts this in perspective to what Donald said. And if Donald didn't see it, I want him to hear it. So let me actually find this here. It's right on my page, and read this off to you guys. I think you guys would all agree with me on this statement. And anyone that's listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, the show is recorded live, streamed live. You can check it out live when it's posted on Facebook on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast Facebook page. You can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. But I said that we all have that one moment that motivated us and changed us to bring ourselves to a completely new and different level. That one moment that makes you believe behind the last version of yourself, makes you leave behind the last version of yourself to achieve what you seek at a greater level to raise the bar. This was Josh Allen's moment, the end of that Texans game, last playoff round, the start of 2020 playoffs. This was Josh Allen's moment where he decided this can go one way or the other. From here, who knows where it goes, but where it goes from here is my choice. That was what I think Josh Allen told himself. Few players in the league worked as hard and as diligently leading into this season as Josh Allen did. It is public knowledge that these guys that he has trained with, the Joe Burrows, the Sam Darnolds, the Kyle Allen, said this guy's different. Something is different with this guy, and his mentality changed. And I think that this is a large part of it. The ending to that Houston Texans game made him sick and made him want to fight and it sounds cheesy, but that's football in a nutshell. It forces you to put your back against the wall and fight back. And Josh Allen's fighting back in this season with Stephon Diggs. The hard work is now his reward. So to Donald, great comment, fantastic comment. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think that is essentially why we are where we are. We will say, too, that the interception that Allen threw was not his fault. It wasn't his fault. He got hit. It was a bang-bang play, and those things happen in this league. It's the NFL. These guys are the, 1% elite of the elite, athletic specimens out there. Mike Gagliardi says, we need a number for your fans to call in. Sincerely, myself and Cody Butler. I'm working on it. Trust me. You guys don't even know what level I'm taking this to. You guys think that this is, these are levels. This is a level. Streaming the show, getting it out there. The show is doing very, very well, getting thousands of views, likes, subscribers, all that stuff. It's been fantastic. Football season is heaven to me and the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. It really is. And obviously, as Mike knows, I'm not just a Bills guy or an NFL guy. Did the UFC 256 post-fight reaction show as well this morning. recapping Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. That was a flyweight classic last night. Guys, got to check that out. If you guys are MMA fans, this is a sports show. I largely love talking about the Bills. That is fact. You guys know that. But this is a sports show. There's a lot to cover in the sports world. Johnny Goldsmith, Johnny G, my man, says McBean is Polian 2.0. Johnny and I would talk about Bill Polian and how he was like the architect of those 4 Super Bowl teams, and he was only there for 3 of them. That was something that I learned recently. I thought he was there for all 4. He left after the 3rd one, went on to be in Carolina, and lead the expansion of that franchise. But how can anyone look at the job that Brandon Beane has done and not think that this guy is the greatest thing that's happened to this team, as well as Sean McDermott, since Bill Polian and Marv Levy? When you have that GM, head coach connection that is, like this, everything starts to materialize in terms of success. You've seen it in every sport, whether it's football, baseball. Great GMs in baseball work well with great managers. You have to have that common vision. And if you share a common vision and if you believe in it, the sky is the limit. And that's what we're starting to see. That's what we're starting to see. So, you guys are talking about what you guys, in previous to what I was saying, I was asked about, clinching the division. I don't care what scenario they need to clinch the division. Scenarios to me are stupid. Scenarios to me don't matter. What I care about is focusing on what the Bills focus on, winning. The best and easiest scenario for the Bills to clinch anything is for them to win. I don't care if Miami loses. I don't care. I don't look at scenarios like that, and I never have. Even when the Bills would be in the hunt, I'd be like, we just need to freaking win. That's it. We don't need. I'm not rooting for anyone to lose. I'm just rooting for the Bills to win. Obviously, the Bills could still win in some of those scenarios in years past and still not make the playoffs, based on how that drought was broken. That was how the drought was broken. Was that situation where we needed the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Baltimore Ravens, and if that happened, and if we beat Miami the last week of the season, we clinched. Great. That was great, but no, this is a new day and age. I'm looking at the 10-3 Buffalo Bills and not crapping on these points here of scenarios. You guys can read into the scenarios all you want. Be my guest. My point is the Bills can control what they can control. And what we can control is the fact that we're 10-3, moving forward, trying to win as many games as possible this season. And they have the means to do it. This could very well be a 13-3 team. I don't think people are ready to admit that yet, universally, but I am. So that's that in that regard. So let's see here. Eric Morrison says, so honestly, Ryan, do you think we could beat the Chiefs in Kansas City in the playoffs? I do. I do think they could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. A lot of things would have to go their way. It's not going to be easy. That's an uphill fight for anyone. That is the team to beat in the National Football League, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. Not only that, they have the best player in the league in Pat Mahomes, and they got a gift, an early Christmas gift in April or whenever the hell the draft was. I can't even remember. This year's been so goddamn long. I can't even remember when the draft was, for crying out loud. But they got a gift in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who they haven't even had to use because this offense is so potent that they can let the run game fall apart pretty much and still dictate the pace of a game. It's pretty astounding. They don't play by the normal set of rules because they're not a normal team. They're an abnormal team full of superhumans. Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, those are the obvious guys. Wide receiver 2, Sammy Watkins. That guy is when healthy, he's a great player. I don't care what anyone says. I know people have this, pessimistic take on Sammy based on his time in Buffalo, but when healthy, Sammy Watkins is a dynamic weapon. Demarcus Robinson is dynamic. Mecole Hardman, one of the fastest guys in the league. You got to have a deep, deep defense to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, and you have to have an offense that can be athletic. I think the Bills do have the offense. Do they have the defense? This defense has looked pretty damn good since that Arizona Cardinals loss. This defense has done okay. So I want to see it. Let's see it. Let's see what happens. But what a great night. 26-15 victory. 10-3. Moving forward, moving onward and upward. This is a really, really great moment for Bills fans everywhere. Great moment for the show to hop on here over 35 minutes, 36 minutes in now, and just kind of throwing this out there. It's 12:12 in the morning, and I'm on here. I'm never on this show this late. Ever. Never. That just goes to show you how big of a win this actually was. I had to get on the mic as soon as that game was over and divulge my takes in this game. Levi Wallace, man. Can I talk about Levi Wallace too? Levi Wallace, what a game that Levi Wallace had today. People can throw shade at him. There were moments where, Levi Wallace got kind of burned in that touchdown there in the game, but I think this guy is getting better. I really do. I think there are moments where he, shows old Levi Wallace, and then there's moments where he's made plays. He's made more plays than not these last few games. The plays that he doesn't make, yeah, they're still going to happen, but I think him being out there, getting the reps, getting the repetition of being that second corner in this offense or third corner in this offense. Teron Johnson made a big play with that pick six, obviously, and he made some nice tackles out there. I thought their defense looked fantastic. I really, really did in the second half. To hold the Steelers to 15 points, that's a remarkable achievement. But we're still on to Denver. 1 week at a time, one game at a time, one round at a time, as I like to say, in the game of football and in the game of life. We're all trying to get through this fight, getting through the end of 2020, hoping for better things in 2021. But, I'm not holding my breath on that in terms of the world and everything that's going on. But what I am hopeful for is that 2021 brings a really solid, deep playoff run by the Buffalo Bills as they try to make their first division and maybe the divisional title, first playoff win, and maybe their first Super Bowl appearance in quite some time. Hey, a man can dream, right? I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned throughout the week. More Thomas Take episodes, of course, Tuesday. This Tuesday, special edition of the show will be on during the afternoon. I have 2 podcast appearances. Shout out to the Built in Buffalo Network as well as Herd and 10. I'll be on both of those shows as a guest. Things are great. Looking up for the show and for your boy RT on the mic, signing off, saying, let's go Buffalo, go Bills, stay safe, and we're on to Denver. Take care, everybody.